You are listening to Let's Go, the weekly anime podcast about weekly anime from Dynamite in the Brain and Secret of the Sailor Madness. So come along and hang with the Let's Go gang. It's Dwayne.
Hello.
It's Niall.
Ari.
And it's me, Brian. And on this episode, we are covering the anime that aired the week of August the 5th to August the 11th, 2023, with the solitary exception of Me and Roboco, episode 18, Made Up Words and Roboco. It's an episode where I imagine if you're more familiar with Japanese SNS slang, it will be much funnier.
Yeah. I mean, like, it just makes me feel old that I don't understand the new terms people are using. Like that's the feeling I got from it. So I wasn't alien to it. I was alien to it as the rest of the characters were to Roboco specific text slang. Yeah.
We've all seen like some kind of weird abbreviations, and they're still used to this day in some cases. Then you get the other ones, and then yeah, dinner with wasn't it.
So essentially, they've realised all the gang are having to get together. They realise they've forgotten to invite Roboco, and then they go through various of her text messages trying to figure out what she actually means by.
Is she mad? Is she?
Yeah, and Bungo is like their interpreter for what she means by stuff. It's like, okay, in this one, she's referencing this Jujutsu Kaisen character to give across this emotional state, or she's just talking about the shit that's going on in the comic right now. I'm not sure, but we'll see what the fuck is happening.
It could be both.
It could be both. That's the thing.
Rule that out, people.
But the punchline is she's coming right over. They say.
They all live in the same road, it seems, so it wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure I mentioned this on Twitter. I kind of wish that, like, in Roboco, they lived in, like, Shonen Jump Town in the same way that all the Beano characters live in Beano Town, like, just for Roboco. But in their town, all the other Shonen Jump characters would live in the same town.
Yeah, I think they have to live in the same town as everyone who works in Shonen Jump for plot reasons later on. So, yeah.
That's true. That's a bit like Beano as well.
That's true, actually, yeah.
Then we got Detective Conan, episode 1093.
Oh.
Miyano Akemi's Time Capsule, part 1. Let me get my detective notes here so we can figure out. First of all,
it opens with where she's like, "Oh man, I really wish I could have kept that chicken." What chicken? The chicken from you skipped all those fucking episodes. So I was like, I'm caught right up. Brilliant.
Yes, I looked. This is a chicken from me. This is a chicken from the episodes a year ago.
Yeah,
This is from the episode with the meteorite hunters.
On the last official show, like it's the one we watched. It wasn't that long ago, but in real world times, that chicken's long gone.
Be careful, a good home.
Yeah, so that was the episode where Ruby stole. Got the shogi piece back from.
So it directly ties into this one because we got the teachers again, and the teachers being like, "Oh fuck, I got the murder face going again." So yeah. Yeah. We know she's not wrong, but we know she's still up to shit. So
I've got that over days later. Ruby is figured things out and then instantly dismisses. Things she's figured out. So I is suffering from I guess PTSD from the previous arc with the Black organization. She's now paranoid that they're going to see her and go, "Hey, that's a young version of the house scientist. Get her."
And they're going to check out the rabbit hutch in the school, basically. Which is why they're talking about chickens as well. And they're just like, and Conan's like, "That's not going to happen. No one's going to fucking recognize you." And the guy's like, "Hey, I recognize you. Names her by name."
Yes. A guy grabs her by the shoulder, names her by her real name, and then this is the sweetest bit of the episode. It's like all the kids are ready to kick the shit out of this adult.
They're all very stranger danger, and they're all like, "Hey, who the fuck are you? This is school property. Get the fuck out of here!" Like it was like, "Oh yeah, good job, kids." Yeah.
So pulling out knives. Woman's got a bicycle chain swinging around.
Dear.
Yeah, turns out these are part of a school reunion who are having their reunion on the primary school. These three, why are these three separated from the rest of the group?
I think they arrived earlier, basically, is the thing.
Yeah.
because the rest of them haven't arrived yet. Is as much as we're given. Also they're having a primary school like class reunion, and these guys they're all adults now, right? They're all like in their 20s. Like there are a few of them are out of college and stuff, I think.
Yes, one's at college, one's not doing anything, and the other one's a firefighter. So one's a trainee doctor, one is a freighter, and the other one's a fireman. You see some other ones, they appear in flashbacks, but they don't get names. These are Murata the freighter, Ichihashi the doctor, Yanagamichi the firefighter. It turns out, not only did they go to school here, but also Ai's sister Akemi went to school here, and we're their classmates. And Conan's like, "You didn't tell me that," and I was like, "I didn't know that either."
So a lot of it, is kind of her learning stuff about her sister, which is kind of like nostalgic and nice for her. But like initially, that kind of scary thing of like, "I know who specifically you are," and they're like, "No, that's a different person." And Friends is like, "Hey, what's up?" It's like, "Check it out. Doesn't that look like your one sister?" It's like, dude, that was like fucking years ago. There's no way she'd still be that fucking young. That was 13 years ago, man. And he's like, "Oh yeah, that doesn't make any sense now that I think about it. Weird. Looks exactly like her from the photos, but you know."
And this is where Ruby's staring at I, going, Akemi was the name of the scientist who died, and she had a sister called Shiho, who went missing. She was also part of the organization, and then she's staring at I. She's figured literally everything she's thinking is absolutely correct, and then she goes, "Nah, that can't be it."
About the only difference I think in her murders there is they don't like white out one of her eyeglasses to make it look like she's rum, because we know that isn't the case anymore. We had the sound effects opening this time around. Just skateboarding noises mostly.
Yeah, so it's a new opening, but they've kept some of the rum animation in. New song, but they keep the confrontation bit from the last.
The ending part.
Yeah, you wouldn't get rid of it. It looks great.
And tired of it, yes, that's just for beginning. See, it was right in front of you all along, you idiots.
It was the fishmonger, you fool!
Well, yeah, talking to the fishmonger, because it hit me at this point in the episode. It was only in the preview that it hit me. We cut to some of the other classmates who don't get names, and they're decorating the room, and they're discussing what they're going to get as the food, and they're discussing, shall we get pizza? No, we should get sushi.
Yeah.
Bacon
Town is really small, so it's like one sushi place in town. It's run by an evil organization. Yeah.
It did strike me at that point. It's when we get to the preview where we hear Shigeru, the distinctive voice of Shigeru Chiba, behind the curtain of the sushi shop, going, "So, Bacon Elementary School, is that right?" So somehow this class reunion is going to cause the very thing that I does not want to happen. But turns out there's a note left for them. They're going to dig out the time capsule. They don't know where it is, but there's a note left for them because their teacher is like a year older than all these guys, so she was in the class ahead of them. And Akemi had left them a code to find the time capsule that they buried as children.
It's a series of clues to follow the clues to find the time capsule, that kind of thing. And they're like, "Oh, how exciting! I wonder why she isn't here yet." And you're once thinking it's because my sister's fucking dead, but I guess they don't know that.
Yes. But also,
when
they see the code, they're all horrified, like they committed a crime.
Yeah, they all see the code, and it's not like, "Oh, brilliant, this would be great crack." It's all like, let's solve this now before anyone else comes. All right, we'll all solve it individually as well. I think that would be for the best. And they all are like, "Yes, we all agree," because we're all worried about what this means.
Yes, and Conan has promised that I'll find it before any of these guys do, so you can get the information about your sister out of it before they can. And the code is Librarian Miyano Akemi is the heading, and then the bullet points are Show me a Monet, Plane Attack, Artist Don't Go, Doctor Don't Lie, Don't Burn Charm 89.
I thought it was just a series of nonsense words that I was supposed to rearrange initially, but they were just following it as is. And I'm guessing there's some rearranging or something going on, but we'll see.
Yeah. Cryptic crossword clue, it sounds like to me.
Yeah, another thing I'm shy at in terms of puzzles.
Yeah, it was really hard.
So Conan suggests they all split up and the boys get annoyed because Conan had to split the groups up so that he's with the girls.
And it's like, hey, you're going with the girls. We want to go with the girls too. And the teacher's like, we're girls, and they're like, technically, but not happy with that.
Yeah, and Conan suggests, well, we can change the groups later, as he does, which annoys them even further. So they split off. So Murata and Conan and the girls go to the principal's office because there's a Monet in the principal's office. But when they get there, it's been switched for Murata's school painting. And then he gets a flashback, and he talks about, Conan prompts him to have a flashback by going, hey, what was this girl Akemi like? And he basically explains, all the boys are in love with her, including me. And then we get
she turned me down, that kind of thing.
The pair of them painting the same scene that's in the room. Hers is different to the one that's on the wall because he's got a different type of bush on the right of what we see in the painting. So it doesn't look like, unlike the other two's flashbacks, if you'd seen this, if this had come after the other two's flashbacks, you'd assume like, he stole her painting and put it on.
Took credit for has been.
Now he may have done. He may have altered it. We don't know.
Yeah,
he may be the suspect because he's the only one who doesn't feel guilty when prompted to have a flashback about Akemi.
The only negative thing to his reminiscing is it's like, all the boys used to fancy her, and I confessed to her, but she turned me down, and he's smiling about it, just going like, what can you do? He doesn't seem sore about it, but that makes me suspicious because the other ones have very good reason to be fucking kind of shitty towards the missing sister. Yeah,
or guilty at least. They were.
Yeah.
They were. They were
definitely potentially guilty of things because they were guilty. Also have her reacting to it's just like, oh wow, my sister was like that. This is nice to hear about what my sister was like because I didn't even know she went to school here, not to mention other stuff about her.
Of course, because it's Conan, he then thinks she better thank me for that later.
She's such a little shit. Yeah, like fucking she's having a moment, all right? Give her a sec.
What a rotten kid. But to be fair, a rotten 17-year-old.
Yeah, a rotten nearly adult rather than a kid, but still rotten.
I know, maybe she's been that boy, but not for so long. It's only been a matter of months, hasn't it?
Yeah, 6 months.
It's like he's not getting the essential hormones he needs to mature into a person.
So then, meanwhile, they were in the nurse's office because Tsuburaya has connected the Doctor's clue,
I think it was,
to a sort of Japanese English pun about sinks. They can't find any clues. They've also checked the painting for clues in the previous room. They didn't find any. They don't find any at the sink. But then we get a flashback of the Doctor cheating on her tests at primary school.
Because it's like, oh wow, you're a doctor now. Wow, you must have been the best person, the best studier in class and everything. And she's like, yeah, totally. And her flashback is her looking over your one shoulder to copy her results, basically, from the seat behind. So.
And then Rumi and Genta and the fireman are in the home ec room because Rumi was like, well, there's no place we can start fires at the school. They're here. But then they mentioned that Genta mentions that didn't the music room catch fire once? And then that prompts after he's previously said, wow, you're a firefighter, a real hero. And then he says, did the music room catch fire once? And that prompts the firefighter to have a flashback to him setting the music room on fire.
As a little kid playing with fireworks, basically, and being seen by the sister and her running off to tell presumably someone, yeah.
Yes. So I think you're supposed to think did Akemi write down their bad behavior
in the capsule, yeah.
In the capsule, and that's why they want to get to it.
Something about the prompt suggests that it's like, I know all your fucking secrets, and they're all horrified by this.
If one cheated on his fourth class end of year maths test, he shouldn't be the head of a major company. No, this information could ruin if you got out.
if somehow, as an adult, you convince me to go to a primary school reunion, I'd be like, all right, I don't know how you've convinced me to do that. But then I go, and then it's like, I know your secrets. And I was like, I was a fucking child. Like not only statute of limitations am I fucking clean, like, you can't do anything to me for a crime I did as a child. I'm grand. Like, I'm not worried about that. It's like, you set a fire. I was like, yeah, I was a dumb fucking kid. Fuck you.
But bad news, you did it in Bakertown, special jurisdiction. We were fucking like, we can arrest you for anything. We can arrest you with on suspicion of being culprit Hanazawa.
I thought the most likely thing to be arrested for in Bakertown is accidentally murdering someone who you didn't need to murder. It was just a misunderstanding. Number one.
So then Mr. Kobayashi says, well, let's get the rest of the class to help search for it. And then the three of them go, no, we can find it ourselves. And so then they split into two groups now. So the other kids will go back to the animal house and finish cleaning that up. While Conan will go with all the adults and look for these clues. The other kids are not happy about this.
It made me laugh. That's why I picked it as a background.
They ring the principal, and he says there's nothing on the back of the Monet.
Oh yeah, because he brought the Monet home with him, and he's like, "No, there's nothing on the back of my one." So when they go like, "Oh fuck, we never looked behind the painting on the wall in the office," so it would have been behind the Monet before.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
A bit of an oversight.
Maybe they looked at the back of the painting, but they didn't look at the wall behind the painting, of which there's clearly written the word the syllable
it's
yo.
The character yo, yeah.
Which is weird to me. I was just like, has the school not been painted in fucking 13 years?
Well, I'm wondering if the principal's done all this.
Oh, if he's in on it. Yeah, could be.
That's what I was thinking. Is he not? But yeah, because I had the same thought as you, and I was like, also the principal might know all these things that they think is a dark secret in their head.
Yeah. I know you were a bald child, but we gave you a shot, and look at you now, you're a fireman. It's great.
But they're like, oh, we got one. So if we carry on, we're definitely going to be able to solve this. And that's where we leave it. We get the preview with Shigeru Chiba's jovial voice. Now is a sinister thing. Yes, because he was of the three suspects, he was the most genial of the three suspects in the world. So it definitely has a nice sinister effect, but he is still genial. And I guess he wasn't an evil spy. He'd be perfectly happy to be friends with all these people. It's interesting. It's an episode without a murder. I assume
will there be someone murdered soon? Yeah. Or will there have been a murder in the past? One of those children did a murder, and it's still...
Yeah.
It's probably a body in a time capsule.
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh,
God, what if it's the sister they dig up? Jesus Christ.
Well, no, her body's well accounted for at this point in multiple flashbacks. I think that it's quite funny when, at the start of the episodes, not in a deliberately funny way, but it's where they're basically having to recap all of Ai's background character points in a weird conversation Conan's having with...
It's very stilted and weird. It's like, why are we talking about this? We're both aware of this, that kind of conversation. Yeah.
Yes, it's because we started in 1996 and it's now 2023 and there may be new viewers.
You just run up and saying, yeah, I do remember that. Good times. So anyways, on to the case at hand, and then that's
yeah. Like the canon ones have to do that kind of thing where it's like, remember that chicken from like the prior like related episodes to this? Is like, what, a year ago? Yes, I certainly do. It's like, okay, so I'm all caught up. This is where we are in the timeline. Grand.
As they're carving into like a Sunday roast. Remember that chicken?
Never know. We'll never know.
Oh no.
I forgot that the teachers was looking up her age just to confirm that she was like a year older than me. So I was like, oh, I forgot that she's also dating one of the policemen.
I mean, like, they're most of your dating options in this town, to be fair. So yeah, what can you do?
That is true. That's quite, it's that or shogi players. You've got to make choices.
Yeah.
or a culprit.
Oh yeah, I was going to say murderers is the other thing. I because we saw the shadowy figure in the next episode preview, I was like, is the shadowy figure going to be a child in this one? I kind of hope so. That would be great.
I don't think so. I think it's going to be one of these three.
Yeah.
I can't remember if the principal's ever been seen at the school.
No, they rang him up at home, but he's in the picture, but he's not even at school basically.
Yeah, I can't remember whether he's ever made an appearance or whether he's one of these mythical beings.
A character that must exist but has not been shown to. Yeah.
He's like Charlie or Kit.
Then we've got One Piece. It's coming up behind. It'll eventually catch up with Detective Conan because Detective Conan takes more breaks. It's episode 1071. Luffy's Peak Attained. Gear 5. He's done it. He's died and come back from the dead, and now he's going to bounce around in one bit of animation, which will be used 3 times in a single episode.
See, initially I was thinking it's just like, geez, it's a lovely piece of animation, but they've used it like 3, maybe 4, even 4 times at the first half, and I was like, and the second half I was like, you were just saving it. All right, Grant, no worries, lads, that's grand.
He's going off for a while, you know. He's got to shake the whole thing. We got to report to every room in the place once. Saying, what the fuck is that? Basically.
What's that on the roof? Basically, yeah.
Yes, there is a lot of that. Kaido thinks he's won, and then a giant hand reaches in through the ceiling and yanks him away.
Was this it was the first half of the episode we get the bit with Hiyori and
yes.
Freaking
Orochi.
Orochi, I couldn't think of his fucking name. Who's still under a pile of rubble? How long has he been under a pile of rubble? Must be months at this stage. I hope he's okay.
Yeah. I think that was part of the problem with this episode. Or at least the reception of this episode is, I think, a lot of people who either hadn't read the comic or had read the comic and forgotten the chapter in which Gear 5 appears. There's also a lot of business from other people in it as well.
Yeah.
It's not until 1072 where we get the full effect. But this was, this particularly the second half, particularly the bit where he goes super cartoony, and the fact that all those cartoony sound effects are there.
Slam the cartoon soundboard as hard as you can.
Doink, doink.
Yeah.
Bing.
I kind of wanted when he spun Kaido around and then slammed him down. I kind of wanted the El Kabong like guitar breaking noise. I was just like, the thing. I
would take the Tom and Jerry. that whack on the ground.
And as well as the sound effects, Miyumi Tanaka is absolutely going off as a cackling madman. It's kind of hits the balance between joy and sinister.
Because it is a cartoon character fucking shit up. It is scary, but it's also really fucking. It sticks in the funny sound effects, which take the edge off that a little bit.
It's like one of the first things Luffy does, like puff himself up like Popeye and start going muscle, muscle.
It's very hyperactive child energy. Yeah.
Yeah, and that the animation of like Luffy with his hand over his face because he's cackling so much, and then
or he's trying to cover over. It's like, I can't look. I do want to look at what I'm doing to Kaido. Yeah, and Kaido having to at several points turn into a cartoon character against his will.
Yes.
Well, now it's awakened. It can affect the environment around us.
Yes. And of course, also the bit with the 5 elders saying, "Well, it cost us our alliance with Kaido and one of our best men."
And Kaido's going to go on the rampage now, but everything's fine. It's all.
We've stopped this mythical Zoan that we've been keeping secret as a paramecia all this time from awakening. The one thing we don't want to happen.
All good.
At great personal cost, we've achieved this goal. Luffy's heart fucking like bouncing basically at this stage. Yeah.
And one thing that struck me, which I don't think it struck me in the comic because obviously it's all black and white in the comic.
Yeah.
Is the visual connection to Gear 5 and my mind's gone blank on what it's called. When the animal people go Super Saiyan.
The minks go, the minks go with the Hollow of the Moon. They go fucking.
Yes, yeah.
I've forgotten the word for it now. Yeah.
Hold on.
It's not the same as a zone awakening, but it's zone.
It's connected. It's got to be connected.
It's connected for sure, because the zone awakening seems to be like your chopper monster point, where it's just like you're wild and fucking no control. But this is them under 100% control with 100% output, basically. Yeah.
It's just the image of them Luffy leaping in front of the moon. I was like,
leaping in front of the moon, the white kind of hair turning into nearly flowing flame, that kind of thing.
Which is weird because he's meant to be a sun god.
Yes, because that's the thing. Is people have pointed out when the sun gods first mentioned in the Skypiea arc, they mentioned 3 other gods as well, which then you have people guessing, well, it's going to be the wind god. Surely that's Dragon. But you're like, hang on a second. Luffy's the sun god. There's no reason why any of the other gods have to necessarily resemble the name of the element that is related to.
Yeah.
So there's a possibility that other people who think they've got Paramecians could turn out to have mythical zone ones as well.
I mean, there's something going on with the moon, so we're just trying to make that physical connection as
well. There's something weird with the moon. It could be just the thing of like the moon is reflected sunlight, that kind of way. So this is a reflection of the life-giving thing of the sun, that kind of way.
I meant more that there's aliens hanging around up there with the last robot servants of a destroyed fallen civilization. It says, that's going to come around in like one of these decades, right?
And of course, in this arc, we've got King, who is a Lunarian.
There's definitely some outer space shit going on, basically. Yeah.
King has white hair as well, doesn't he?
King?
Yeah.
Yeah. The black-winged people, basically.
Yeah. So I think the white hair thing is something to do with all connected. Devil fruits come from the moon. Anyway, I'm sure it'll all come out by the end of the story, and probably in increasing speed.
It ties all back into that sort of it's a little kind of background thing with One Piece. It delves into all all the stories of like El Dorado and the Bermuda Triangle and all kind of weird, kind of fringe scientific myth stuff. So it's like heavens and aliens or alien things worked up in there would not be completely out of bounds for it.
No, particularly because you've got the world nobles going around in spaceman outfits.
Yeah.
In spaceman outfits, the ancient weapons seem to be advanced technology, not ancient technology. So it's just like, did we take a few steps back to make it look like we were in the past when we're actually in the far fucking future? It's like, yeah, probably.
Yeah. But next week's episode, even better, but we'll talk about it then. Dark Gathering 5, the Freshmen Welcome event, in which our hero tries to make new friends and accidentally enrolls in a suicide circle.
I thought it was going to be the very serious episode because it opens with that, it's like the
content warning
and the hotline after the thing, and I was just like, okay, I appreciate it because obviously some of the imagery in this I was like, ooh, that's pretty fucked. But other than that, I was just like, that is the general kind of spooky vibe this show gives. But yeah,
it's good that they do that. They had it in front of that one from Oshinoko as well, which dealt in the same subject matter. So it's like, that's fair.
It doesn't fucking hurt, basically. Yeah.
Yes, it's High Dive being more responsible than necessarily the show is.
Oh my god, the show does not fucking care. But yeah.
Kotaro has joined. It's like a travel club. He's going to go to a sort of a mixer to meet new people.
Yeah, he wants to make friends outside of Eiko because all of his friends are already her friends. So like it's not. They only say hi to me because they know me through you. I want friends of my own because I'm trying to become my own person. And she's like, absolutely, I will help you in this with a fashion makeover. Also put on these glasses. It'll make you look real smart.
I don't know. I think with the jacket coat you got for him, he looks even more tuney. And he has like the single glove as well. And yes, it's kind of dark. It's like, no, you're not doing it much favors there.
Yeah, I thought she was dressing him up like orphan from the light novel.
I thought it was like giving him the waistcoat with the pockets, so he looked like he goes like hiking or something like that. I was like, are you trying to make him look like a hiker? Is that what's going? Yeah.
Well, to be fair, the guy running the club also has a very similar jacket, so
yeah,
right in.
So this guy's pretty cool. I gotta get him in. He gets me. What he's gonna get is push up a chair with a rope around his neck because I'm something I do, but it's not really my fault. I'm possessed by
it is
a ghost that likes doing this thing.
Yeah.
But it's only attracted to shitty people. So
because Eiko has thoroughly bugged Keitaro, as Yoi discovers, and she's always like, "Yikes!" Also, there's a funny thing when she's put cameras in the glasses. She's monitoring his heart rate.
She's got a tracker on him so she can find where the fuck he's going. Yeah.
When Yoi steals the laptop and opens it up again, and then as they're watching the video, they hear a voice going, "Die, die, 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 die," and Eiko is like, it does that all the time. Every time I switch the camera on Keitaro, I can hear a spooky voice.
There's always some sort of cyber ghost stalking him. Yeah, I guess that's just the way of it. And up to that point, the little kid was calling her like, "Dude, that's super creepy. You're a weird, creepy stalker. You know that?" And it's like, "Oh, he's been haunted. Can I get in on this?" It's like, this is actually cool now. I'm in for this.
Hey, good evening, everybody, folks. It's the Eiko and Yayoi show. We're going to be following around this dope with camera to see what he gets up to.
So they're just commenting on his social foibles, I guess. Yeah.
Yes. So everyone in the club loads into a minibus, and then they all fall asleep because they've been drugged at a party. And then they wake up on chairs with their necks in nooses. And it turns out there's a ghost who keeps on possessing a new person every school year, infiltrating a club, and making everybody in the club commit suicide.
Yeah, and he's telling this like, "Oh, you're getting spooked out by spooky things on the minibus," and he's just like, "Let me tell you a spooky story." He's like, "There's this club that keeps happening, and they keep changing the name of it." And it's like, "Well, surely the school would stop that." It's like, "Yeah, it's the same guy running it, but he shows up in the fucking in the list of deaths every fucking time. Pretty weird, right? It was me. I'm the ghost. Haha." So he possesses a new guy to redo this every year or two, basically.
Yeah, you kind of wonder why, because it's because he eats other ghosts.
Yeah.
It forms their essence.
Because otherwise he would fade away and pass on. So instead he's going to kill people, eat their ghosts, and maintain this fucking thing he's got going. Yeah.
And then because that's why he's hanging them, so that the ghosts, their spirits appear at the right level for him to consume.
That seems lazy.
It's efficient. He's got to get through like a dozen of these, like in one go, like in one night, like every year. Like
right.
It's like like an all you can eat. If you finish it in under an hour, it's free. So you got to really.
Oh, you're saying it's like eating contest rules, where like you don't eat like the day beforehand, so you got room in your stomach, that kind of shit. It's I need them lined up so I can go 1 goes, 2 goes, 3 goes.
So the girls have shown up, and in order to exorcise this guy of these demon spirits, Yoi leaps at him, makes him deep throat a bottle of sake until he vomits up the demon. But then he's himself, he's still in league with the demon, and so therefore Yoi smashes him in the head with the bottle of sake.
It was good.
Because, I mean, like, when initially he's like, "Oh, what are you doing here, Pipsqueak?" And he picks her up, and that gives her at head height to jam a fucking bottle down his throat. And everyone was just like, well, that's pretty fucked up. But, like, the fact that she actually bottled the dude and, like, laid him out, and they were all like, holy shit, he took out a grown-ass adult.
Those are big bottles.
Those are big bottles, but she is a small child, is the impressive part.
So they get everybody free, and then they leave the scene of the crime, so they don't have to answer any questions.
Sensible, yeah.
And also, so Yoi can let the guy hang himself. Because she's still a spooky little girl who knew that he was going to hang himself, and they make no effort to stop him from doing it.
Well, so that way she can go like, that'll be a good one to add to my collection. Yeah.
Yes. That was anything which wasn't quite clear, and I wonder if that's clear in the comic. Of like, has she like trapped that ghost out in her finger puppet?
I think in the finger. I think that's the idea behind it.
Yeah. It just didn't come quite as clear as it normally is. But these are quite long chapters they're condensing into.
There was a few I did on reading it. I did notice a few framing things. I think that's a little clearer in the comic. There's the other thing of it kind of like does a shot, like a single panel to the bottled water in a bottle holder in the minivan, with like with a little strip of popped out pills in it, and I was like, oh, that's pretty good. But then on the show, it's just like he's holding a strip of pills, going like, and I was just like, that's not subtle at all. Come on, have a little class.
Have you figured it out yet?
Yeah.
I appreciate them doing one story each episode.
Yeah, no, it does work. Yeah. And then they like he kind of realizes at the end, is like, wow, you guys really saved my bacon there. Wait, how did you know where it was? Like, how did you find me?
Woman's intuition.
Whoa, really? Wow, I didn't know that was a thing. Okay, and they're just like, holy shit, he bought it. Fucking hell, this guy's an easy mark.
Yoi says that she's going to teach Kotaro how to protect himself from spirits.
Because at the moment he just gets fucked up by them. So yeah, that's fair enough.
Teach you the job. These are your tools. There's a crowbar. This is going to be your best friend from now on. Because we could give it a lady's name. That's as close as you're going to get for the next 6 months.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the series. I think because the three main characters are so fun.
It's so fucking close to veering into too much edgelordiness for me, but it's well done. Yeah,
I like that. Yeah, she's just this little fucking thug. Exercising ghosts. It's just like it's no fucking like spread the circle and recite the sutra. No, but fucking there's a brick I dipped in holy water and I'm gonna throw it to your fucking window. That's how I exercise ghosts.
It's not so much I know the lore and how to defeat this ghost. Incredible violence is how I'm going to defeat this ghost. Yeah.
Now this next episode of Helck, I've seen the end of it but not the start because I was dealing with an Amazon delivery. So all I know is that they're on an island full of weird people who want them to leave. And at the end, he's built a raft for them to leave, and then like the elder in the robe says, "I want a word with you."
Fuckers are in trouble. Yeah. That's it. Not a lot fucking happens for the most part.
No, it's kind of it.
She initially wakes up and she's like, "Oh, I hear the chopping of wood. I suppose that's the sound of Helck chopping wood." And he's chopping wood with such ferocity that. Is that later on? Actually, I think he's chopping wood with ferocity.
It's later on, yeah, as well. But like he just like goes away. He quite hard. He shatters the axe. He just does like karate chops and does it.
The rest of the trees, yeah. But he's built an entire. Like I don't even want to say log cabin. It's like a really nice house.
It's a house. It's a small cottage.
Which he's managed to put together, and she's like, "The fuck? Like, did he just build that as shelter?" And there's a weird little bird thing. I don't know what the
bird man.
Which mostly repeats. Like, I wasn't sure if it was actually sentient for the longest time. I was like, is it just repeating things, or is it actually like a person? And Hulk's like, come on, it's starting to rain. We got to get inside. And she's like, absolutely not. I'm pretty sure you're going to murder me. But you didn't murder me while I was unconscious. And you did reach out to save me. But you did not attack the humans who were our enemies. So I don't know whose side you're on.
That's the other half of this episode. It's just really her going, oh, if he was a bad guy, he wanted this. If he was a good guy, he might just think he's doing that. Oh, man. I got just constantly just like going, turn it over in her head.
Yeah, she can't figure out whose side Helck is on, and also what the situation she's found herself in, because they're in. When we cut back to the demon guys, they're using a tracking locator spell, using a piece of her body as the thing of it. He wanted to grab a lock of her hair, but she burnt him and the hair. So your one has a lock of hair, the cat girl one, as part of a tradition, which is perfectly fine and not like a weird creepy thing. So when they put it on a little model on the map, she's way off the map. It's like, oh, she's on an island in the middle of the ocean that we haven't even got mapped on our giant world map. Shit. So they're not sure how to get her back. And Helck's like, yeah, I walked all the way around the island. It's in the middle of the ocean. I'll build a boat to get us back. But he's like, his boat building skills are crappy.
It's a raft. I mean,
it's a raft.
It's a big size raft. Come on.
But like, it doesn't have a sail or anything. It's got a little flag.
Well, he's probably just gonna like dip his feet into the water. And super paddle to get him across the continent.
Right. But yeah, she initially goes to the. She's still claiming to be Anne from management because that's what Helck is calling her. She manages to get to the village because a guy who was delivering food to her, who ate most of the food, takes her back to the village, and he's like, "Oh shit!" I did like his talking as well. It's very again, it's very like a lot of like what's the word where he's making up words for reals and shit like that.
Yes.
Yeah, he's just
Just a weird guy.
He just watches too much television, I suppose.
Yeah, somehow on this remote island of a limited community, and she's like, the people on this island must be very trusting. But as soon as she gets to this weird monster village, everyone in the village is like, "Holy shit, strangers!" And she's like, "Okay, it's just the bird and this one pink guy who are fine with us being here."
The bird is Pee-wee, who apparently has his own spin-off comic.
Brilliant.
Also, apparently, he's also not a bird. But I assume that will be explained later.
I mean, like it's got a beak and it's fluffy.
Yes.
It doesn't seem to have any fucking wings, as far as I can determine. But yeah.
Mentions that Anne smells like an old lady. Also, she has when they go find some ruins off the coast.
Yes.
These are like nostalgic to her for reasons she doesn't understand.
And she says she's been to the ocean once before because she does recognize it. She even like wades out in the water a little bit because it's like, fuck it, I'm on a tropical island. Might as well make a little bit of it, right?
Yeah, it is indeed a mysterious island. Yeah, I like all these little weird people who live on this island, partly because they seem to be untouched by the plot.
Yeah, it's kind of just like a bunch of weirdos that we're having fun with, because not much happens plot-wise in the episode to progress. They're nothing to do with the plot, but we're just having fun, basically.
Yeah, just the fact that they went through a portal and wound up in the quote-unquote human realm, or wherever it was. It was thought, maybe like, no, it's like the demon realm and the human realm are like separate dimensions. Was Barf would say, no, they seem to be on the same landmass, or on the same planet.
Yeah,
it's just far away from each other.
So obviously the demon realm isn't connected to the ocean because it took her a while to recognize the ocean, even though she has seen it before. And there's a miasma over them, but not over the rest of the fucking world. And the other thing I was thinking was, like, again, Dragon Quest kind of stuff. It's like, this is Monster Island, where your man's from.
They're not like, going mad and trying to kill all humans or anything like that.
No, they just live on their own fucking thing. Yeah.
Well, I suppose in a way it's preying upon my assumptions of how these kind of stories operate. Much like somebody is assuming that Helck is going to turn on them, and maybe he won't. Maybe he's got his own reasons. So it's playing around with that, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's not clear whether these people are demons or humans or a third thing.
They're definitely not entirely human, if they're anything, and a bunch of them look weird. So yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting mystery, and yeah, I like her as the main character because she's unlike other characters who like have the tsundere type. She at least has a reason for being hit with Helck. It's like, this is my arch enemy, and yet he keeps on doing things that make me question: is he my arch enemy?
Yeah, she's not stupid enough to go, "Oh, he's definitely my enemy because he didn't attack the humans." It's like, he did reach out to save me, even though he failed miserably, and he could have killed me while I was knocked out, but instead he used his cape as a pillow while I was fucking unconscious. And I was just like, so she's not being stupid; she's just being cautious, basically.
Yeah, and they mix in with these other weirdos, and it was interesting.
He's the weirdest looking thing on that island because he's this huge hulking man, like ducking down into a bush and looking at a bird and that kind of thing.
Yes, and they pointed out his raft is nowhere near as impressive as the house he built.
Yeah.
Yeah, man,
he's good at fighting. He's good at baking.
Okay?
He's good at house building. It's like he kind of maxed out skills in everything, right?
Yeah, exactly. But some people might do. In Undead Murder Farce, episode 6, The Phantom Thief and the Detective, a show full of people with maxed out skills.
Mostly on the soft sets, but yeah, a few on the hard stats as well.
Well, even they have their off days, or they pick up their own birdcase in the park and leave your only head master rolling around in the shit. Actually,
the whole time because it showed a parrot on the other park bench, and I was like, oh, here we go. Here we fucking go.
How do we arrange it that both these benches are left about empty except for the cages?
the maid gets up. She wants to check on something, and your man's like, "Oh, I could go for some fucking fish and chips." When there's like fish and chips, get your fish and chips.
No, but you go for me, please. Well, that's far, Muck.
And that, in comparison to like the intrigue and the coolness of Dr. Watson coming home to a very different acting home. It's almost like it's someone disguised as him, and you can clearly see the fucking yellow eyes or anything, but it's probably nothing to do with that. So it's all these smart people, and then these fucking dumbasses fucking it up in Hyde Park or wherever. Yeah.
Also, this entire thing is to establish when the guy who takes his parrot home discovers that he's actually taken home a talking human head and throws it into the street, and he gets run over by the twins who've stolen the car. It establishes just how immortal she is when her head gets split open and it rejoins itself back together. It should be important, I think, in dialogue earlier.
Yeah.
Immortal.
She can't do anything. She can kind of turn, and that's about it.
When you kind of reform your own shattered skull, like perfect hairdo and all, it really hasn't affected people and it getting them to do stuff for you. But she, you know, that's what she brings to the table.
And so then the maid gets a lift with
the Phantom and Lupin.
Yeah.
Lupin.
So Lupin is disguised himself as Sherlock Holmes and is trying to fool Watson. He's most of the way there. He's like, "Why the fuck are you acting like all friendly?" He's like, "Oh, it's a fucking different day. I feel like a new man, eh?" And then Mycroft comes in and is like, "Hey, you're not my brother. Who the fuck are you?" It's like, "How do you know?" It's like, "My brother cut his fingernails 3 days ago. Your fingernails are too long for the growth." And he's like, "Well, you can't fucking prove it." And then Sherlock Holmes walks in and is like, "Pretty sure I can prove it." He's like, "All right, later, bitches." Jumps backwards out of a window.
See you light.
Into the Phantom's car, and they're just like, "What a bold guy!" It's like, he dropped us some clues because he was talking about like what's the purpose of a lock? To be opened. So yes. he's trying to.
He's laying down the gauntlet.
The same that they've got the same weaknesses, that they're both gentlemen.
So they have to fulfill their promises.
Yes.
So while the two thieves from the last episode run over a random severed head they know from prior in the street, and they're just like, "Oh, we get Sarah to the circus now, like we said we do." The maid and your man are kind of like desperate, going around town. Is like, "Oh my god, where's our head?" And the maid nearly gets run over by the Phantom, I guess, driving the car.
The low speed carriage chase. When these two carriages then intersect, it's like, "Hey, follow that one."
Yeah, because they're initially just like, "Oh, I will absolutely help you find this person, mademoiselle, as I am." I'm not going to say my name is Lupin. Gentleman thief, and I'm a gentleman. That's the important part.
And then your Oni Hunter catches up with them. They get into a fight with marbles.
That's the kind of thing. Is it's like, "Hey, I'm the Oni Hunter. What's that mean?" It means I'm stronger than you, Lupin. "Oh yeah? How about a pocket full of marbles? How do you like them apples?"
Shisha.
And then they're back at in the evening, waiting because obviously Lupin's given them a time as when he's going to steal this diamond.
Yeah, it's between what is it, 11 and half 11 or something.
Yeah, is it with Sherlock and Watson and Mycroft, where the discussion of like how useful the Royce agents are going to be, that they're probably going to try and steal the diamond as well?
Yes,
I think Mycroft is suggesting
to go just kill all monsters. So
they would absolutely want to get the thing that you find werewolves and then kill all werewolves. So yeah, they're just going to let Lupin steal it, then steal it off Lupin and blame him. So that's probably their fucking plan.
I was looking at the Japanese wiki, made me realise that Royce is Lloyd's of London, just underrated.
Yeah, we legally can't call it that because that place would absolutely fucking sue you. That is a thing in a lot of.
It is, I think, to portray them as villains, because Lupin the Third has used them in plots before. But
yeah. And so the fact that they may have some kind of secret extrajudiciary police service, is, that's probably like within the bounds of fiction, or the fiction already.
But the idea that they're hunting monsters for insurance purposes.
I mean, I'm not sure if that makes them look bad in reality, but it might suggest things that they do in reality. I'm not saying that would cause them to sue the fuck out of you. So let's change the name.
Yes. But it's an interesting concept as a motivation for monster hunters, if that is indeed what it turns out to be. Yes. The idea is
we're getting too many claims, and then then with their vampires and werewolves, and just make more vampires and werewolves. We're getting more claims, and then it's just mushrooming like crazy. We gotta try and hem this in a bit.
And this is a world where monsters are a known fucking quantity. So everyone's like, Jesus, a severed head that's talking, but they're also like, oh yeah, it's probably some kind of monster. Like that's the thing. Like if you have acts of God in your insurance thing, you probably have acts of vampire and werewolf automatically built into your contracts. Yeah.
Only they'd watch the Marginal Service. They need to know that they've got to leave these monsters alive to protect us from the aliens.
We need to have an adequate social security net so that the monsters don't fall through the cracks and then just fester this rage and contempt for human society that spurns them and hates them.
Yeah.
They're pretty sure that Lupin can't steal the diamond until then he starts flooding the giant safe. I
did like as well when I've forgotten his name now. The French detective shows up.
Yes, the Lupin.
Oh my god, I can't think of his name.
Not Grognard, that's his other one. Ganimard.
That like Sherlock Holmes initially like pulling the mustache, and he's like fucking ow, and it's just like I just had to check, and your man doesn't even say anything. It's like I get it. All right. Fair enough. That's what I would have done as well. So yeah, it's Sherlock, Watson, Passport 2, and fucking I feel like a madman. Phileas Fogg and Ganimard locked in a vault.
It's just it could have been like any it could have made up any this is like Lord Lancaster and his servant No. Why not be Phileas Fogg and Passport 2? Of course, that's about the wrong time frame as well. Why not have it be? It's fun. It's good.
So they're locked in the vault, and they're kind of just check. The two agents have since left. Is like, you're gonna rob off Lupin, aren't you? You fucking monster hunters. And they're like, fuck, what? No, I wasn't gonna do that. We're just gonna stay on the top level. Apparently, the cage users are staying on the tower, and I guess they got their own way of doing things. But Sherlock Holmes' brilliant plan is to shoot bullets into all the keyholes so he can't open the fucking safe. They're like, but we're locked in here now. It's like, yeah, they'll get a fucking locksmith in the morning. It'll be grand. Like, we're not going to die. We're not going to starve overnight. Like, come on. Think about it. We'll just have to crap in the corner or something. It'll be grand. Don't worry about it.
It's okay. You can piss in the water because we're getting flooded out of the building.
Oh, yeah. People can't fit through the vent, but water can sure fit through a vent. So, yeah. Sherlock Holmes is like, stupid. Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah, that's where we leave. The cliffhanger is they're all about to be drowned inside the safe. I did look on the website as to who the Moriarty's coachman is. I hadn't seen it previously. It's a doozy. It's a rare non-literary character. It is a historical character.
Oh. It has this kind of air of mystery or mysticism about them, huh?
Yeah. We'll see where that goes.
I'm still loving the show. It's fucking ridiculous.
It is. As much as I like Moriarty the Patriot, this is more fun.
This is really like having a laugh. Like, your one literally says at this point is like, time for the fast to begin. And I was like, what the fuck has been going on up to this point? You've been a head loose around town has basically been the plot up to this point.
If they focus too much on the time he's going to say he's going to do it, it's probably already gone, and it's just
and
they cut on to that, and they're going to go, I can't. Meanwhile, while room is being flooded, here's the actual heist that's happening.
Or like a gentleman keeps his word, it will be within that time technically, but not quite, or something like that. Yeah.
Big asterisk.
We're going to steal a big asterisk as well. And we've got Bungo Stray Dog, Season 5, Episode 55, At the Port in the Sky, Part 1.
Could they not just call it an airport? Because it's just at an airport.
It sounds cooler this way. We're about literary sweeping prose here. And our sweeping prose, can transport us to another realm. Like our own office, we'd have a very confidential meeting about our plan. It's not the bad guys.
For a guy who's been in this season like once so far, Poe is a really MVP in this whole fucking bit, because it's like we had Poe cook us up a fucking office that we could move around and shit.
I feel like that's part of the joke, is that Rampo has no power, and yet he's always using Poe's power.
Just, come on! Yeah, okay.
Also, I feel like also they mentioned in this is like Europe has the most and the most powerful ability users.
With all the
presumably
literary fucking references, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
so probably because they're of the period in which all these authors are taken from. Those authors are probably the most translated and most published around.
They'd be the oldest.
Yes.
Yeah, the most prolific, because it's not that it's particular enlightenment in Europe. It's just those ones happened a lot, and then that happened during printing and stuff. So those were the ones spread to the most form.
You fucking meet fucking Dante Alighieri. He's literally Dante from Devil May Cry. He's all those powers.
But we get Fukushi's plot. So Fukushi's plot is he's going to create a terrorist threat in the form of the vampires. So they'll have to unlock the ability device One Order, which was designed to be used in war. So a recurring theme of the idea that soldiers don't want to fight.
Because Rampo asks us how many bullets do you think it takes a soldier to kill a guy, and it's fucking I guess maybe 5 shots. Maybe they'd use 2 clips because it's hard to hit the guy, and it's it's harder than you think. And he's it takes 50,000 bullets to kill one guy. I think his math is right there. Yeah.
On a battlefield, it's very hard for whenever we're training to overcome the impulse that you take the life of a human or human being.
Most people shoot in the general direction. Yeah.
This is why I explained in Star Wars why they can never hit the good guys, but the bad guys are always just fun spraying wildly because they
don't want to kill anyone. Basically, most humans don't want to kill other humans, but this One Order lets you assume direct control of your troops, and therefore 1 bullet, 1 fucking kill is basically you control your whole fucking army. Basically,
do it without guilt, without hesitation. So you put a real psycho on the end of that, and I do like how there's this whole fucking it's in a fucking disused missile silo or something. They gotta go down multiple locks. You gotta bring this thing out of the water. Disabling corrosive liquid seals. How dangerous is this thing?
There's automatic bullet, machine gun cameras on him at all times. It's I am now asking permission to step forward into the chamber. Permission granted. There's so many steps that you can't get to this thing without really needing to open it. Basically, yeah.
I like how it's. After all that, it's a pretty nifty looking field radio.
So it's literally just a radio that you use to hook into your entire army and then take them over. And it's as Rampo was explaining, they should have fucking destroyed it, but they kept it just in case something like this happened, which was probably smart of them, but it was a bad idea because they sealed this away. Because you can just take over a country with this. It's just my army now. All the army is me, and all of them will kill on my command without compunction. Yeah.
So all of these all these literary allusions, we can guess the ending of this book. We're trying to write world domination. Yawn. So let's stop that plot right in this tracks.
I think he calls it the most boring evil organization reason ever. World domination. Yeah.
So basically, he has to create a large enough threat that all the rest of the world will come together because they can't
agree with the use of One Order.
Yeah. Because he knows that he can't go up against Europe on his own.
Yes, it's a fantastic but plausible story.
Yes. And then we cut to the airport because they're going to deliver it to this airport. So the plan is we'll attack the thing, so they'll get afraid and take it back. So he won't be able to.
Yeah, there's a dozen different parallel drops happening here. We don't even sure which one is going to be the real drop. So it's just
it'll be the one that all the hunting dogs are at. That'll be the airport that they're going to.
They got Tino that threatened that that one lady from she helped her out one time. She had a real threat to her. He was so brave that put an effect on her.
Was that season 1? I think it was.
Yeah, but she'll come into play later on. Fukushi is useful in saying, folks, right, don't threaten civilians. Jono, come at me. Let's have a little word with you guys. We'll keep a close watch. Jono, you've been with us for a long time now, so I want to let you in a little secret. This is Bram Stoker. He's my best friend. He's made a lot of vampires for us. And that mastermind that Tachihara was talking about, that was set up to Arthur Da Vinci, that was me. But I know you're a real psycho, so
You like torturing people for fun, and I recruited you from a criminal organization specifically for this moment, so you would basically become part of the evil organization that I'm also running. So you'll be on the good guy side like me, and on the bad guy side like me. So you'll be my guy on both sides. Sound cool?
What do you say?
And because I remember that one time you had like as an example of how fucked up you are. You foil the bank robbery by getting all the bank robbers. So it's like, all right, if you can put like stab yourself with my sword and it comes out your back, I'll totally let you off, right? Scot free. And you're just doing that for fun, like because you're a weirdo.
But he did it to help the old lady because that guy deserved to die, but not the old lady. So I've got some sense of honor.
I think he said is like the biggest mistake you made was making me like was letting me receive thanks for the things that I did. It's like, oh, I'm helping people by torturing people. I'm a good guy. That kind
yes,
of
essentially, this is a rod Fukushi has built for his own back.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought you'd say that in all these different futures. So look at me, I put my sword in the way so he wouldn't kill me.
Well, I can turn into gas or a big pile of dust, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to leave through the door, and then it's like I had a vampire on the door, closing it with his dark black shadow powers. So you can't
let's
escape.
Go out through the air conditioning then.
I'll just set my sword on fire because you're made of dust. It's like, shit, I need to turn back into a guy. I'll turn back into a guy and then set on fire so I can put out the fire. And then he gets stabbed like 15 times. Like, haha, I stabbed you 15 times from the future because I'm fucking cheap as chips. Fucking guy.
Yes, and so now I'm going to have you turn into a vampire so you will obey me. Ha 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 ha. And then as Jono's being carried off, Jono's like, no, ha 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 ha. I've got you because I actually passed a note to that young lady.
Instead of going over to that small child and say, you're a friend of the fucking detective agency. Oh, I'm going to torture you. I was lying. I gave her a note saying, follow me, but don't let anyone fucking see you. And like, to help out the detective agency.
She's like, one, vampires? International conspiracies? Oh, geez, that shouldn't be here.
I better take a photo with my phone's camera.
Gotta be brave like that would be. So I gotta, fun this hide out this room. Got fun too. Gotta be brave, And then she manages to kind of get out and hide behind the locker. And then it's like, wherever I go, gonna go. If he comes out here, he's gonna kill me. But I could hide. Yes, I could hide there. And he comes back into the room. He cuts the locker in twain, but there's nobody inside it. God damn it, where'd she go to?
I love the diagram of the room, so you can see how she could have escaped while he was jumping through. I was just like, I didn't really need the diagram. You set the scene well enough in this random airport break room, basically. But it's like, I'm pretty sure she's in the coffin, right? Like that's the most.
I believe that
it's the most obvious place that is like, why the fuck would she hide in the coffin with the vampire outbreak? It's like, yeah, that would be. I wouldn't check there either if I was that guy who assumed he was the smartest man in town.
Yeah. But also this is like this feels like the episode where the paranoia is being intercepted with Fukushi. He's like, just got to keep it together for 6 days.
Steady as she goes.
And it's like, I knew. And he's like, I could rewind time and find out who it was. He just took a photo, but I don't need to know who that is. They need to do that. I'll just slice this. Yeah.
But the other thing is the detective agency. Their plan is to obviously, like, the obvious thing is to shoot down the fucking plane so he doesn't get the one order. But what we're going to do is actually steal Bram Stoker, because once we got that, we got all the fucking vampires, and they don't need to give him it in the first place. So win-win.
Yeah. So that was mentioned in the backup plan, which I think is that's why you think she's got the call.
Yeah. They would if they're stealing that Bram Stoker, they're probably going to find her as well. Then yeah.
God, I love this show, and God, I love this episode. It was a nice. It's like the ha ha ha, and then no, ha ha ha, no, but ha ha ha.
And the simple thing was like, I've got a sword that I can stab you from the future with after before I've lost, so I will always win, and I'm very very fucking cheap, and I can do it infinity distance away, and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I slipped a random small girl a note, you idiot. It's just like, that's what unfucking does him. That's very funny to me. It's like, you can't, even with your cheap fucking powers, you can't account for some rando at the airport having a note passed to her. Good.
Yeah. It's And also because there's probably still some sort of honor in Kikuchi, which is probably what he's doing his evil plan. He's undoing his own evil plan because of that.
Yeah. Like he took this person who was a murderous torturer man and actually gave him honor by accident, basically. Yeah.
Because his plan seems to be to end war.
Yeah. By removing personal control from the entire world, basically.
I think he's not like beyond killing, but he's just gotta be like a reason for it now. He's been in too many pointless conflicts to want any more of it. Or it's something like, well, if someone's gotta do it, it may as well be me, like Canute. If I'll just like control all of it, and just like whatever killing is done, it'll be done under my observation, under my like supervision.
Once everyone is mind-controlled vampires or mind-controlled by the fucking One Order radio, then there'll be no war because I'll be controlling everyone and I'll say no fucking war. Win-win.
Because that's the thing. He's not like identified a problem that needs to be taken care of. He's created a problem that needs to be taken care of so that he can be the one put in charge of taking care of the problem.
Yes, yeah.
And if they listen to me on that one, they listen to me on these ones.
Yes, but once he's taken control, once he's activated that device, and eliminated all the vampires, then that's it. There's no more enemies for him to.
Yeah, he doesn't even need the page at that stage. He's already in control of everything.
Yeah. Except, of course, the detective agents. They're wilier and smarter than he is, and also probably whatever dregs there are of the. Port Mafia, and also members of his own organization.
Yeah, who will likely turn on him once they realize it's like, oh, you're the enemy we've been fighting the entire time. The only one I can think of not like or sticking with him is your one who can change her age, because she seems very devoted to him.
Oh no, I was thinking of the Dostoevsky and Golgo and that lot.
Oh Jesus, yeah. Like you're trying to make yourself the king of everything, and that therefore you've made yourself an enemy of everyone, including the people who are enemies with each other. They're going to work together to fuck you up. You're in such trouble, pal.
Because we know Bram Stoker's under coercion is involved in this scheme.
Yeah, he doesn't want to do it. He's just a guy stuck on the end of a sword. Like, nothing he can do about it.
Sigma was created for the scheme. Golgo wants to defeat Dostoevsky. I guess Dostoevsky is in this just pure. Now, just really to outwit Dazai, is that his current motivation?
Well, that's maybe a bonus, I suppose, but that seems like getting locked up will be part of the thing because he's got somebody outside nonetheless.
Yeah.
Like if it came down to it, if Kikuchi is going to start probably cleaning house to cover up that side of his tracks, maybe like being someone like that is the best place for him because he can still do what he would do anyway, just from within the safety of the underground super hologram prison.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we'll see. We'll see whether he gets turned into a vampire as well. That's also that is also, of course, his solution to the rest of his group turning on him. Of course, is
I'll offer them to join me. If they don't join me, I'll turn them into vampires who are automatically under my control. Yeah.
But yeah, him slicing wildly at lockers at the end, I was like, this is the good stuff. He's losing it. Then we've got the shorts. Hyakushou Kizoku, episode 6, Epidemic Control. Is it called PCN over here? The nematode cyst thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, I can't remember the name.
Potato cyst nematodes. That's the.
I know the kind of thing they're talking about. Because initially the editor's asking her about tell me about bugs. It's like, when I was a kid, I drop kicked a tree and I had to save the bugs from a river that they fell in. So I mean, I mean pesticides. And it's like yeah, like don't wander through fields without permission, like because you spread the little
the soil from one place to another, including
and you bring the nematodes with you.
This.
Yeah. You can ruin a whole crop.
Once again, that field is no guarantee on all of the rest of the plants as well. So that field is gone. That could ruin like a farmer's business, like that. So I stick to the paths.
Yeah. And then it was like, how did you react? How did your parents react to COVID? And it's like, well, they're from a small rural community, so literally no fucking difference, basically.
Yeah,
And also, they have all the equipment for animal outbreaks of, mad cow or something like that, where they have the mask, they have the sanitizer. It's just like, yeah, we're already set up for COVID.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of funny. I was like, yeah, those are some of the people who were actually grand. I know there were some villages who just didn't have restrictions because it was like, we'll just have no one in and out because the current lockdown thing, but they could basically leave all the shops open. Like, there was no difference.
Then it was like, how did it affect you as a manga author? Well, I had to dig into some old anecdotes that I hadn't used yet, such as this time I went to France. I was disgusted by their sanitary conditions making cheese.
But that's how, as the Frenchman explained in French, that's how it tastes good.
And then the final punchline of her explaining that sometimes she uses the research money she's been given by one publisher for the work she does for another publisher.
Don't tell your editor that. She's not going to be happy with that.
Well, check this. It's an equivalent exchange. She shot. Don't be fucking quoting yourself, you little bastard. Give it back on butt. Roll credits.
Yeah, it was a very good punchline. And then, the last thing was Ikimono-san, dog.
But
the dog in every episode. What makes this one different?
Dog doing dog stuff, or trying to, yeah.
He's throwing the dog a frisbee. Every time the dog goes to catch the frisbee, this is after he's seen other dogs catching frisbees and looking so happy about it.
I did like the one dog getting framed and like becoming like a painting. I was like, that's nice. It was a good joke.
Perfect catch.
But then, yes, the boy will catch it in his mouth instead before he gets there.
And the dog eventually realizes, so you want me to throw the frisbee? The child is acting like the dog now, we're gesturing, like a dog would. So the boy does the cool catch, and then all the other dogs are seeing the dog pet its boy, and they're all just like, wait a minute, and they all get on their hind legs.
Up and turn around.
Which should be horrifying, but it's really fucking funny.
I did all of the people then just look at each other and then go straight down all the line as well. It is like, no, this wasn't even a dream one. It's just like,
no, this one happened. This one happened, yeah.
But it has just that dream like logic to it.
Yes. Yeah.
It's the fact that everybody is so happy by the end result of the events of the cartoon.
Wait, we could be the people? Wait, we could be the dogs? Fantastic. I love it.
Yeah. Grand stuff. And that's it for this week, because there was a bunch of stuff we should air. And then one of those things is also not airing again the following week. We'll be airing next week, but then Zom 100's taken another week off, but it's not feature production this time.
It's patchy to say the least, folks.
It is. And then Jujutsu Kaisen we're still looking off in the distance for that one. But we do know when it's arriving.
They'll come in when they're hungry.
Yeah.
I don't want them to come in. I don't want those guys coming in when they're hungry. I've seen what they eat in the comic.
Dear.
That's it for this week then. Ta-ra for now.
That's it.
Bye.
Get out of here.